Welcome to my review of the CASIO digital wristwatch F91W, which has been in production since 1991. There is also a gold accent version of this watch. It's black rubber, but it has essentially a gold trim around the face, and that would be the F91W-G-9. So if you want that, you can look for that model number. This watch retails for $18.95. But if you actually pay that much, you're not living right, or you're not shopping right. You should be able to get this for like $10.50, shipping included, eBay, Amazon, etc. So this is the box that it comes in, and I misplaced the manual. I don't know how I did that, but I seem to have lost the manual. It comes on this groovy little watch stand, which the watch stand is almost worth buying the watch. If you have some solar atomic G-Shocks or any of the solar charge type wristwatches, you can use this, put the watch on here, put it in the window. Of course, this, as you can see, F91W-1 WT, F91W on the face of the watch. This is a very popular wristwatch. It has been popular, especially if you look at a global perspective. It's been very popular for many years because it's very cheap and it performs very well. Most people find it to be durable. It's currently ranked number 4 in best-selling men's watches. At shopcasio.com, I believe it's ranked number 2 for men's watches in terms of sales. This is the timekeeping mode. It also has an alarm mode. It's just a single daily alarm, and it has a stopwatch mode. And then that's the adjust mode, and then you're back to the home screen. So one thing that's significant there is that there's no countdown timer. If you want a digital watch with a countdown timer, then you'll need to look at a different model. It has a 1-year limited warranty by default from CASIO. That's the manufacturer's warranty. You can probably purchase something from Assurion or something, if you buy it through Amazon. The case is a plastic resin. Well, probably some kind of a plastic. I don't think it's a urethane resin. It feels quite hard. The crystal seems to be acrylic, so it's not mineral glass to the best of my knowledge. CASIO doesn't seem to want to publish information about what the crystal actually is. The case back is a 4-screw stainless steel. It's fairly thin. It appears to be stamped and die cut stainless steel, so it can be dented fairly easily, but under normal use you're not going to dent it. Of course, if you bring this watch down to depths underwater, the pressure will crush it. The material is significantly thinner than what you'd see on a CASIO G-Shock, which has a 200-meter water resistance rating. It appears to be maybe half the thickness of a G-Shock case back, but under normal wear, normal use, you're not going to have a problem with the strength or stoutness of the case back. The buttons are small, smooth, round buttons, which are normally hard to press, but because these stick out, it's not too bad. You don't have to try to get your fingernail on it or anything. You can just push it with your finger because they stick out, which is not good for shock resistance, but it's fine for a normal watch. The strap material is a rubbery urethane resin, which is very common on a lot of CASIO watches, including G-Shocks. It's very good in terms of durability and wear. Of course, it is affected by UV light, so once it gets about 15 years old, it may start to tear and crumble and stuff. That's just common for urethane resin. The buckle seems to be a plastic. It seems to be the same material as the case. So not super strong, but again, for normal use, people do not complain. From all the reviews I've read, there were no complaints about the buckle breaking. It's more the strap keeper here maybe tearing off, or the strap becoming detached from the case. That can be more of a problem than this plastic buckle. As I mentioned, it is not shock resistant, except that digital watches typically are fairly resistant to shock, just because they don't have all those tiny little gears, which are delicate and can't handle. So you can drop this. I'm pretty sure if you threw it at a second-story window and it landed on the sidewalk, 9 out of 10 times it'd probably be just fine afterwards, even though it's not a G-Shock. It doesn't have additional shock-resistant construction. Water resistance, according to Wikipedia, it's 30 meter, at least if you have the black version that I'm showing here, which is 100 feet or close to 100 feet, and it's only good for splashing and rainwater. You do not want to wear this showering or washing dishes. Basically, you don't want to submerge it, although I think a lot of people do. This watch seems to, as with a lot of Casio watches, it overachieves. It does a little better than what it's rated for, but it's not, that rating is not good for swimming or submerging the watch. There is, however, another version of this watch. It's called the W59. It's a W59-1, which has a 50 meter water resist. So you can wear that swimming. But I don't know, it's not much more, it's just a little more. But yeah, it's essentially the same watch with a slightly better water resistance rating. The Illumination is a microlight which shines across the surface of the LCD, which is okay if you don't use the watch much at night and you don't think you're going to have to read it ever or hardly ever at night, then it's okay. There is, however, another version of this watch. It's the F91W. It looks pretty much the same. It has the same module. The operation is the same. It's like 75 cents more. And I would actually recommend that, because that has an electroluminescent backlight, which is, you can't beat electroluminescence. It's very even. You can read the digits with maximum clarity. So here's the Illumination. It does not compare to electroluminescent at all. You probably have to do a little bit of tilting and squinting in order to see the digits over towards the right side. It's quite bright. It stays illuminated as long as you hold the button. It's quite bright over there on the left, close to where the light is, but not so much over towards the right. The battery is a CR2016, and the battery life should be about 7 years. And yet, unless you use the Illumination frequently and use the alarm frequently, then your battery life can be affected and shortened because of that. Accuracy is plus or minus 30 seconds per month, but a lot of anecdotal evidence, people in their experience, in their real experience, it seems to be more accurate than that. And that may just be because they don't have a lot of temperature variation going on. So let's talk lug spacing. As you can see, I've removed one half of the strap here. The lugs have an 18 millimeter spacing. However, it does not use a common spring bar. It uses a press fit pin, and I would not recommend taking this apart if you don't have to, because it appears to be partially semi-destructive to the lug on one side, the plastic could just, when you press this pin out from this side, which has the smaller appearance to it. It's a smaller diameter, and near as I can tell, you're supposed to press it down using a common spring bar tool. However, it partially destroys the plastic. So, yeah, but you know, given that it's such a budget watch, and it probably costs about what you would pay to replace the I don't know if you can even buy a strap for less than what you pay for the whole watch. So it's not meant to really be taken apart. But I did that just to show you what's going on there. Now for the wrist shot. If you're used to wearing big macho manly watches like the Range Man, you're going to feel as though you have just become a sissy. Well, yeah, it just feels very small and delicate. The strap is narrow. It's thin. The material's quite thin. I guess once you acclimate to it, it's fine. It does look kind of small on my wrist. My wrists are about 7.5 inches diameter. Yeah, so at first you may have a little trouble walking out the front door, but I mean, there's a lot of people who wear these, so it's a good watch for small wrists. As you can see, I have only a small amount of strap hanging out here. So if your wrists are under 7 inch, then this is good. The display, the window is small, but the time digits are fairly large. And for me, even though I'm nearly 50 years old, I can still read the time. I have a little trouble with depending on the lighting conditions, I have a little trouble with the day of the week and the month and day of the month, but I can see the time okay. It's not what you would call jumbo digit. It's more or less, I guess, a normal, maybe slightly bigger than normal digital digits going on there, at least with the time. Most people with normal vision, you know, that's close to 20/20, they're not going to have any trouble reading the time or the rest of the information either. So let's get functional. This has module number 593. It is a 3-button digital watch. So if you're coming over from the CASIO G-Shock world, that's a little different. There's no button over here. There's just the light button. There's the mode button. And then there's this adjust. Well, it does several things. Mainly when you're in timekeeping mode here, it switches between 12 and 24 hour. Because this button does stick out, it is susceptible to accidental, inadvertent pressing. So you might look down at your watch and find that it's, you know, showing a weird looking time like this, which is, you know, indicated by this 24-hour marking. So yeah, it's one of the things that minor complaints that people have about this watch is that it accidentally gets switched between 12-hour format and the military 24-hour format. If you press and hold this button for a few seconds, you'll see CASIO. And that's one way to check to see if you have an authentic, because there are there are fake versions of the F91W out there floating around. And you want to check to see, look at the markings closely to make sure that they match, you know, what you find on Casio's own website, because typically there will be something a little amiss about the markings. So the modes, you get your alarm mode, stopwatch mode, and then adjust mode. You know, with a lot of other Casio watches, this is the adjust button, and you have to press and hold it in order to get this here. But with this module 593, you actually have an adjust mode, which kind of makes sense. It's kind of logical, I think. And if you press this button here, it'll set it to 0. And then you use the light button actually to change what is flashing. It simultaneously turns on the microlight plus changes the setting that you're adjusting. And then, you can press this button over here to adjust. And you can only go forward. You can go fast forward, but it's still only forward. There's no reverse button up here, so for you to decrement the digits. Oops. And you can do the same thing with the minutes, and the month, and the day of the month, and then the day of the week. This does not have full auto calendar, so it doesn't know what year it is. And because it doesn't know what year it is, it can't automatically compensate for leap years. So it's a few years away, but when February 29th comes around, this watch won't be able to automatically cope with that. You'll have to manually correct the day of the month. Well, I think you'll actually have to correct the month as well. The day of the week is independently, so I know it's Saturday the 23rd, but I could tell the watch that it's Sunday, and it doesn't know any different. It doesn't, because it doesn't have that full auto calendar. It doesn't know any better. Alarm mode. Let's take a look at the alarm mode. When you switch it into the alarm mode, if you press the bottom right button here, you see this little indicator lights up. That lets you know that the alarm is turned on. And this is the hourly chime, and that's alarm plus hourly chime. And then hourly chime and alarm are both turned off now. So if you want to change what the alarm is set for, it's just a simple daily alarm. There's no snooze feature. So you press the light button momentarily. And of course, now that the hour is flashing, you can press this button here, bottom right, and change that. Hold it to speed scroll. And then pressing the light button again will change the minutes, so you can adjust those to whatever you want. And yeah, that's it. So now your alarm is set. It's automatically turned on when you adjust it. And if you don't want that, you just press this button a few times. And that's the alarm mode, except I forgot to demonstrate that if you press and hold this button, that gives you a demonstration of the alarm, so you can test it and make sure it's actually working. Okay, that's the alarm mode. So one other mode that we haven't covered yet is the stopwatch mode. It's pretty simple, easy to use. Start stop is down here. It gives you 100 second, so 100ths of seconds, seconds, and minutes over here. If you press the light button, it shows lap. That just freezes the display. The stopwatch is still running in the background. So press it again, it goes back to the elapsed time, and you can just keep doing this every time a lap is completed, I guess. If you want to do a first and second place finish, you press the lap for first place, and then press the stop button for the second place. And so there's your first place time. Press the light button. There's your second place time. And then if you press the light button again, it resets it to 0. The capacity is 59 minutes, 59 seconds, and 99 100ths. at which point the hundredths disappear. So you have then minutes, you have seconds, minutes, and hours. And I'm not sure how many hours it would count up to. I would guess probably 99. That would be the limit of the display. But you can use it like a second time, I guess. You just no longer see the 100ths of a second on the display. It's silent when it resets, which is a little weird. Stop, reset, silent, reset. Okay. And that's it. From a functionality standpoint, that's it for this watch, except the test mode, where you press all 3 buttons at the same time. And I failed. There we go. And this just shows you all of the LED segments lit up. So if you have a dead LCD segment, I guess you would be able to. This is more a thing that they would use at the CASIO testing and repair facility. You just press any button to get out of that. So let's say you want a silver tone version of this watch. What you're going to want to look for is the A158W. That's the model number, and that has a micro light, the same as what this has. Well, the little green, I think it's an LED. It shines from the side and shines across the surface of the LCD. But there's also an A168W, which is a silver, silver metal bracelet. And I think it's a chrome plastic case, and that is that has electroluminescent illumination. And there's also an A168WG-9, which is a gold tone version of the same thing. So if you want a really dressy look, you can pick up one of those. It's quite a bit more expensive, but depends on what you're looking for. So if you want a super affordable digital watch, you got $11 in your pocket. This is a great choice. It's an overachiever. It'll probably last longer than you expect, as long as you don't mind it being pretty small. Why not? It's sort of the rebel against snobbery watch. If you're sick of all those people that have these really glitzy watches, that either cost $80,000 or look like they do, or you can just rebel against all of that and wear one of these. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.